Oh, sorry. Welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. In this episode I'm going to show you how I make my fish attractor. And listen, it doesn't just work for only the toothy critters. Well, it's going to be a messy one, boys. It's lawn mowing, okay, because the lawn's starting to grow. It's the hottest day of the year, and also I've got a load of trout chum to make up. And this is how I do it. It's messy, it's smelly, it's yucky, hence the fact that I'm wearing a pair of trousers and rubber boots. I do everything with bricks. In here I've got bran, so you get yourself a sack of dry bran, pair of gloves which do or do not work. I started mashing up, and here is my trout guts. You need flies. I use these square boxes like this and small ones for smaller species, and I've made up my chum chopper, which I can chop stuff up with like that as well. But my main weapon is this axe. Let's get going. It might seem like I'm about to perform a brain operation, but indeed you would not want me removing your appendix. Well, I've got the tools, I've got the technology, so what I do is this. I get out, for instance, this head on a block, squash it down a little bit like this, and then give it a good whacking like this. Once I get it sort of flat, you'll find I can chop it up, and there's all brains and everything in there. In those gills, it chops up a treat. It's a messy job, it's a smelly job. The flies, look, I have plenty of friends, but they're all blue bottles. Blue bottles, green bottles, it's all there. I just chop away like this, get it nice and small, turn it over. You want to basically, with any fish, you want to attract them rather than physically sort of feed them. Now I process that head here. I process that head and juice. Don't waste that juice, Graeme. I process that into that. I've already got some in there. Put it all in there, like that. And then double handful of bran at least. Get my chum chopper and just work away at it like this, chopping it, mixing it. Today is the hottest day of the year. It's not the best day to be doing this job. The faster I get it done and into the freezer, the better. And then what I like to do is to get some of this oil, pour over the top of, so it's got time to soak down. Oh, I love it, me. Here's a likely candidate if ever I saw one. Okay, all chopped up, all the bran's done, and what I do, put my rubbish in an old paint tub, that can go. My bins are going to take back wash out and I bleach those. The bran gets folded up back in dry storage, keep it dry. I've got 1, 2, 3 tubs for going in the freezer, and a small one in case I want to go just inshore reef fishing for black bream, garfish, that type of thing. So I've managed to salvage one out and get at least an afternoon for that. These ones are square or oblong, as you can see. I find they're better for stacking in my freezer like this, just because you can get them in the freezer, and also they've got the little lip you can stack on top of each other, so I get more in there. But you know what? I need still more chum. Anyway, boys, I've got enough for fishing. Next thing is add water. The other thing I do is I leave these for a day in this hot sun so the oil comes up on the surface through the bottom to the top, always rises to the surface. Take the lid off, a little bit more brown across the top. Don't overfill it, leave a gap there, because anything moisture will freeze and expand, it'll burst the lid off. So there you go, a couple of totally awesome tips for you shark and taupe enthusiasts out there. It's a messy job. Look at the state of my overtrousers, and the shower is on the way. Well, what I like to do is leave this for 24 hours, so it's almost like leaving a tea bag to soak, if that makes sense. Now look, just here guys, if I just rock it, can you see all the oil bubbling up here? Now I can either drain that off, or I can get some more bran and just top that off. Just around the edges here, that one's pretty good, but that's swollen up, it's soaked. If I did this look, this is the next day, obviously. If I did it straight away and put it in the freezer, I'm freezing it before it's fully soaked up into that bran. You can tell how much oil is there. Look, loads of it. So by leaving it 24 hours, it absolutely makes the oil rise all to the surface. Don't spill it, Graeme. Please don't spill it over your garden trousers. She'll go nuts, her indoors. So what I can do is I can always put some extra bran in here like this to help soak up the surface oil, and there will be more coming up. Once I freeze it, it won't come up. See, that's all going to soak up there, but don't overfill it. Allow for some, when it freezes, to expand. I've got that pretty well. I've got 1, 2, 3 big full ones for shark fishing. I've got a nice small one here for something like taupe, black bream, just putting a bag over the side. Hope you've enjoyed it, guys. With the sun coming up as hot as it is due today, there's only one place this has to go, and that's straight into the freezer. Well, there's a lot of stuff in here. It needs moving around. I even freeze a loaf of bread. I'm going to take these out, give me a bit more space. Try and keep fresh water one side, see the other. I've already got one block in there. I've got some secret weapons there. Mustn't tell you guys about it, actually. Totally secret. Now hopefully these will go in there. There's one. Two, third one on top. That's why I like that shape and not a circular one, because they can fit in the freezer really well. Well, it didn't stay in my freezer for very long. I soon took it out on my boat to see what I could catch. Target species was trying to catch a taupe. However, it was tough, yeah, and it was rough. I'm out aboard High Sea Drifter, the world's most famous yellow boat. Can't be many yellow boats around really when you think about it. It's very windy, you'll hear it in the mic. In fact, I'll turn the other way. Right. I've just come down to fish a channel, just a narrow channel, in the hope I might catch a taupe. I have put my shark lines out. I've got mackerel and I've got squid on the bottom in case a taupe comes along. I've got a single crab on nylon trace cast out there. It's a hardback crab, just a frozen hardback crab. It's already swung around. The tide's not doing what it's not doing, it never does what we want it to do, does it? And the wind's obviously not great, it's going to get worse. And it's sort of pushed me off at an angle. I'm trying to adjust it by altering the angle of the outboard. I've got some baited feathers over here, just behind me, these ones. Trying to catch a fresh mackerel, because there's nothing a taupe loves more than the blood from a fresh mackerel. So basically I'm just giving it a go. I'm out here bobbing around on my own. Bobbing around. Where does that come from? Was it invented by a guy called Bob or something like that, who was seasick up and down in the boat and they rescued him? How do you feel, Bob? Oh, Bob. Anyway, I'm not wildly enthusiastic. I am just going to have a day's fishing. It's a beautiful day, but the wind, I'll shield that, the wind is fresh. They're giving 3 to 4, locally 5. I don't want any of the 5 and we'll be going in. And the other thing, I'll tell you what I've done. I'm going to sit down here out the wind for you people. Oh, the 2 best things I ever had on this boat was this chair that I'm sitting in, the swiveled captain's chair I'm calling it, and this thing up here, the canopy to keep the worst of the wind off. Really, really 2 good things I've had. Well, there's many things, but you make some mistakes with boats, don't you? You always make some mistakes. Wish I hadn't done this, wish I hadn't done that. Whatever, I'm out here with baits in the water, all that matters. What I've done, I normally get out quite early. I have to trail my boat 50 miles, launch it, all that awful hassle stuff. But this time I thought, you know what, I'm just going to fish 6 hours of the tide that I want, which will be a flood tide, taking the smell from a chum block I'm going to put out in a minute, all the way for 5 hours minimum. Maybe 6, but let's call it a 5-hour straight run of tide. However, the anchor is in the right spot, right? But the wind, it's got more south in it than southwesterly. They said it's going westerly, which I figured it comes around westerly, everything will be pencil straight. No, I'm bobbing around like Bob does, up and down, beam on, what they call beam on for those non-nautical types. That is sideways onto the waves, which is about the most unpleasant you can get. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this frozen chum block. It's been going, I think, about half an hour. It shouldn't be flooding yet at the tide, but for some reason it is. It's started flooding. Oh, I think it's flooding. It's going that way. And there's a channel way over there by some markers. You won't, there's one there and one there. That's a channel through a sort of reef area. So I'm just aiming my chum to go down through there and hopefully pull a tope in that might be hunting up and down this reef. So tope are my quarry. At the end of the day, I'll settle for anything, just a fish. So I'm going to go searching up the cabin. Let's go in here. Oh, it's lovely when you get in this cabin. This is a quarter-deck cabin, so it's only a quarter of the boat, I suppose. And I've had no door put on here, as you guys must notice. The rest I rigged all out myself. Somewhere in here, I'm hoping I've got. No, not Smith. Mabel hides in here normally. I'm hoping, there's the drogue when I go shark fishing. I might have, I feel them, here they come. Right, mesh sacks always are aboard high sea drifter, always. Let's get organised. I feel so much better if I can get some chum in the water. It's ridiculous really, but you know, it's just a way. There's too much shark, too many years of shark fishing, I'm afraid. Now, I have never in my life seen or even heard a splash of or caught a shark this close to shore here. It's not the Florida Keys. But there's every chance something each year gets seen and spotted that comes through by charter boats. So it's not entirely out of all bounds of probability that something toothy could come through here. I have one shark rod out. I've got it on my 50 wide reel, which has got half a mile of line on. I'm at anchor, so I've got to fight the fish from a dead boat. Chances are I won't get a take, but listen, you never know, it's just one bait in the water. Right, this is not the best bag in the world. This one, if I can get it in there, is going to be for scent only. In here, if I can get it open, it's probably a good idea that I can't get it open, guys. I'm sure you may well even smell it through the screen of your... Oh God, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Now this one's frozen. I'm hoping it's going to come out in one big fell chunk. Let's wash my hands off. Look at this. Look at what I do for you people. Oh, that reeks. This is about a year old, I think, this lot. Prime quality. And of course, taupe. You could tie this on the anchor if you were in a taupe ground. I'm not. I'm just sort of experimenting. Make sure you tie it on well. Many is the time I've lost a bag, and if you lose the bag and the knot comes undone, the fish go with it, if indeed there's any fish here. I'm going to tie it just off the side here. And because it's frozen, hopefully it will release that smell over a couple of hours, which is what I'm looking for. I'm going to leave it quite shallow to dip, just to dip in the water every now and then. That's the Irish style of doing it. That's what they do, they just put it in so it's just dipping, and look, all the particles coming off there. Don't wash your hands in the chum trail itself, just go up current of it. That will slick off all this back. You'll see all these ripples, cat's paws, and unfortunately white water that I'm now seeing. That this will slick it off a bit. Sometimes you get mackerel in here as well, which is why I got these baited mackerel feathers there. I can bring them up a bit shallower actually, so that they're actually hanging in the chum slick. Anything extra, wash out. You do not want it in the boat. That's some good stuff. I wish I had that was down the West Country blue shark fishing. There's a nice current going there, I have to say. Nice smell in here, that's for sure. Right. That may or may not attract a fish. A lot of these things I like doing like this is, somewhere I've never fished before. Who stole the bucket? Somewhere I've never fished before, and also I just keep a little bit in there in case I do see a fish of some description come around the boat. I can tip that out to spark them up. Tip number one, when you're using oil-based fish like I am here for your chum and you're fishing alone, keep everything dry, wipe it clean. Oil is slippery and you don't want to be popping over the side for a quick one. Indeed, it will be a permanent one. Right. As you can see, there's only one thing I need to add. That's right, some sandwiches. Now here's something rare, guys. This is very rare. For me personally, it's a pasty. It's actually got some stuff in it. It's got some meat in it. Ones I seem to buy always seem to be hollow. I wonder where they're made. Let's hope it stays down. Well, nothing happening at all. There's that wind coming up. These are the sort of things that sort of bother me, is yachts that seem to have a helmsman asleep. I don't know. Really got nothing against people with yachts, except do they know where they're going all the time? I know there must be some excellent yachtsmen out there because they go around the world, but there's also some complete weekenders. Now, there's one here. I'm anchored. I can't move. And he's just ploughing on towards me. Now, he's got the sail there. Is he actually seeing this side of the sail, or is he having a gin and tonic and just chilling and thinking, oh well, I'm going across, pop across the Isle of Wight? Because if he doesn't see me through that sail and he ploughs me under, I'm toast, I'm done. I dare say he'll go outside me, but why do they have to come so close? Is it some game? Is it some frighten the sea angler game? I don't know. I don't know why they do it. Other anglers out in boats there, I'm sure you've had it happen. How close can we get and disturb those people's fishing? Whole ocean. The whole, look at this, look. The whole ocean's even a warship over there, and even he's not coming over to me. Whole ocean, there's nothing, nothing, nothing. No, let's see if we can go close to that fishing boat. Just make life dangerous. No, he's heard me. He's heard me, yes. He is now, oh God, that's a boat there that's anchored and fishing, trying to have a bit of peace and quiet. Still going to cut through my lines. I wouldn't surprise me if he picks my shark line up. I just don't think.
Station calling Southern Coast Guard for a radio check. This is Southern Coast Guard. Say again your vessel name, over.
It's pretty horrible here at the moment, people. I have to say, I have not had one bite. And that's what I'm putting up with here. I'll try and hold the camera still, but it's a good 4. They did say it would go to a 5. I don't really want to be out here in a 5, so my expedition to adventure, having just 5 or 6 hours in an afternoon picking the tide, has not worked out because the wind has not caught it. It was supposed to go from here up to the bow. Westerly would have been great. No, it's locked into southwesterly and it's pounding me. As you can see, the boat is pitching around. Well, if that guy doesn't change course, he's going to be very close to my shark line back there. That could be the biggest run I've ever had. Well, it's not doing me any good rolling around here, guys, because I'd like to catch fish and there is absolutely nothing happening. I'm getting weed upon weed, and other anglers told me there's a lot of weed out there, Graeme. It's a real nightmare clearing the lines. Now, why would I listen to them? What do they know? They are indeed correct. I'm trying desperately. Wayne's outside of me fishing for thresher sharks out deep. No thresher sharks, and he went really early in the morning. That's a shame. I think he's going to be packing up shortly. He's nearly out of chum. Look, see? Just a nightmare. Nothing is going to take your bait really when it's all covered and smothered with this weed, and I'm getting more and more and more of it. So I'm wasting my time here. I'm trying to salvage something from the day. It's the only place. The trouble is I've only got 2 spinning rods here. That's all I got, my 2 spinning rods. There we go. And I'm going for big baits for tope, and that's not obviously going to happen today. I had, well, I dropped this one down, an incredible screaming run on my 50 wide outfit here. It's an 80-pound stand-up rod. Absolutely screaming, and my heart was pounding. I was winding and striking and winding and striking, and as the line was cutting through there, I was waiting to come tight onto the marlin or the shark, and it was up in the air. It's a seagull. Weed had got on the bait, swung it up in the current, and the bird had picked it up. He just dropped the bait when I tightened up on it, but initially I thought, what the hell is this? It's got to be a thresher, a mako, or a sand tiger shark. Not to be. So I don't think we're going to be long here. Let's put that one down. Do you know, all I think I can do, I can't get out the wind. It's southwesterly. They just gave 3 to 5 on the shipping forecast. I just pulled into the Coast Guard's office, tuned into channel, I think it was 62 or 3, and they're giving 3 to 5. So not very nice at anchor. Fine if you're on the drift, you wouldn't even notice it. When you anchor, as you can see, oh look, you judge for yourself. I'm getting pounded here. I wouldn't mind if I was getting pounded by fish, but I'm not. So while I decide whether I'm going to up anchor and go inside, I just have some crabs. I'd have to get rid of all the tope gear and just fish a couple of spinning rods, maybe salvage something with a hardback crab. There could be wrasse in there. I've had them on worms. They're not big wrasse, but they are indeed wrasse. I might get lucky on if I whip on a section, a piece of crab, small piece, I might be able to salvage a fish out the day. Meanwhile, folks, I've got my chum here. It's still going away. It's not in a particularly good bag, but the smell is there. You can see that slick up there, straight down below. It's going right through the channels. Pretty well what I wanted it to do. So we'll give it 2 o'clock, a little bit longer, half an hour. What have you noticed? I'm dead still on the boat. I'm dead still. The wind is still blowing because you're probably hearing the mic, but it is flat. Tide's still got a couple of hours flooding in. So there's a channel there, main channel's here. I'm going to go up there in the corner, sit there quietly. Depth is, my only concern is this on the sounder. I'm hoping that's not bundles and bundles of weed. If it is, I think I'm going to pack up and go get myself a pint of doom. 5 metres, so very, very shallow. Just going up here in line with these, because they moor these boats on the edge of deep water channels over there. Might be something on the edge. There might be a ton of weed. But at least I'm not pitching around pounding myself to oblivion for nothing. I might as well sit in comfort and have nothing, right? No, really. Right. A little bit more like it. Clunk. Right. Over she goes. That's on the bottom with the chain still in the boat. Got to laugh, haven't you? Have to back off of this one. There we go, that's the bottom. Now, I'm going to back off so that the boat doesn't get pushed over the rope like this. I want the rope off the bow here. So I'm just trying to ease it backwards and swing it round there so that I always take the rope off the bow. And this will all be mud in here. I'm glad I come in because the wind is whistling. That's it, neutral. Right, up we go. There we go. That should pull in because it's all mud. Yeah, that's in already. Handsome, my lovelies. It's a rare sailor's not there. I hope he's not going to swing. Hope he's not going to swing. I might actually shorten it up a little bit. I don't want to be swinging. I don't want to be dragging either. You want the best of both worlds is the trouble. Us fishermen are quite picky. If we get too much wind on the bow and this canopy here, you'll put too much pressure and the flukes will just skid through the mud. I think I'm going to be okay there. We can but try, us sea fishermen. How we put up with the rubbish fishing we have half the time, it's beyond me, but we do. God, I think what it used to be like years ago, we didn't know how good it was. Just went fishing and caught fish. Now, everything is an absolute epic. And of course it's a light tackle thing, and I have no light tackle anywhere. I think the lightest I've got is 20-pound line. However, we'll see what happens. I figure the wind's going to hold us here a bit, swing a little bit. If I straighten that the leg of the outboard up, that might keep us a bit straight. I figure you're going to swing, so I've got to chuck the bait sort of in that sort of arc. I know I will put this bag over. So there might be an outside chance of mackerellies. You never know. Yeah. Right, the bait I'm using, I've got a couple already out there, to be honest. On the spinning rods I've thrown them out. Don't know how much hope, probably going to blank, but listen, I've got these frozen crabs in here, just thawing out, trying to keep them all, I've got loads in there, just frozen ones from another trip. Just regular hardback crabs. I do this off the shore as well. So I've got a dead crab here. Well, it's frozen, Graeme, obviously it's dead. I've hooked that on, but you can see I've put the squid on there as well. So I've got a piece of squid there. So that should anything come along, like a smooth hound or a thornback ray, he's going to think that crab is feeding on the squid and just come up behind it and snaffle it. Now the other thing is, a load of other crabs are going to come around that because I'm in the estuary, so I know it's full of crabs. Any crabs coming around here, there'll be a big bunch of crabs. Up comes a predator. The crabs scuttle away, but they leave this kiddie. He goes, oh, there's one that's not looking over his shoulder. I think I'll have him. Yum yum. Woof. That's the theory. I will probably blank, but listen, I use this a lot and I do catch elsewhere. I have a feeling I'll be blanking today, but I feel it's a tip you guys would know about. And of course, frozen hardback crabs like this. Nothing wrong with them at all. Wrasse love them. I was going to go wrasse fishing inshore on a reef, but to be honest, this wind is just unbelievable. It just will not lay down today. I've got a boom on there. I've got very, very unlight tackle estuary type rods in the shape of 30-pound shark rods, but that's all I've got, and I'm going to drop something down and then I shall just chill out for the afternoon, or what's left of the afternoon. I might get lucky. you can see that yacht because I'm inside. It's about a 35 footer. It's absolutely flying along, and that is inside the harbour. That shows you how much wind was outside, and I'm swinging all over the place like this. So when you do swing, you could cast this way and this way, but of course your boat's swinging like this, so you're going to have slack, and then you're going to pull this one tight. As this one comes tight, it goes back the other way, it's slack. You won't see the bites. I tend to cast straight down, so when the boat swings, it just has a minimal pull on the rods. That's the theory. Again, I'll probably catch nothing, but got to be in with a chance, you know. I just need to see one rod fold over with a nice smooth hound. That's what I'm after. Well, I was after tote, wasn't I? Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh. Probably fall in the water. Well, nothing but nothing has happened. Which doesn't surprise me, because when I've always come in any sort of harbours to get out of the wind when it's really, really blowing, or a storm or bad weather, I've never done any good. I've never done any good. It's like that wind and bad weather's upset the inshore fish as well. And strangely, when I came out this morning, well, I didn't go out this morning, I came out just before lunch, it was absolutely dead. I mean, normally there'd be terns, there'd be herring gulls about, there'd be birds working somewhere, and you'd see fish moving on the surface. There might be mullet, there might be whitebait. It was dead, dead, dead. But it looked quite good, the water. I have to say, it didn't look bad at all. You know, it's strange, this fishing game. But now I'm in here, it's still dead. But what I have noticed, I mean, normally late afternoon, the flood tide in the evening, this place will be buzzing. I'm looking, and some of the terns, which are the very delicate birds that feed on the whitebait that the bass chase, they're normally low, always low, like this, you know, dodging around following the little schools, little baby bass, immature bass. They are so high, it's like, I can't tell you. I figure they're up there high because they're looking down like this, waiting to find an area that's going to, well, give them some feed. They are so far up there, they are like buzzards circling. And I've never really noticed terns like that before. I know they're really low to the water, birds, you know, 50 feet to the surface, because they're after the bait that the fish are chasing. If you see terns, it's generally, you know, there's some pollocks, some coalfish, some bass are driving small little 1 and 2 inch fish, sand hills, to the surface, and they can get them. One odd herring gull just flying along there. But I can see them dots. It's like they're waiting for something to happen. I figure it's just the weather's upset everything. So it's a blank. It is a blank. A total blank. Not after. I can't remember whether I've had a total blank on IC Drifter. If I haven't, it's a new PB. Today is the day. But then I've got the excuse. Yes, but it's only an afternoon, Graeme. It's not fair. It's not a straight judgment, because you should be there all day. What do you guys think? Is it a blank? Is it really a blank? Is it a sort of a half a blank, isn't it? It's a half blank, really. I feel better that way. All this work, and you pour money down the toilet, don't you, know? Fuel for the car, fuel for the boat, launch slips. Oh, goes on and on. Pint of doom on the way back. 2 pints of doom on the way back. One because it's bad luck, one because it's good luck. You never know. But we live in hope. Not much, I must admit. Okay, boys. I've all packed up. It's been not a nightmare day, but a nightmare day. It's just the way it is. It's a total blank. I haven't had a bite. I'm going to wash out because I've touched all their gear. Listen, there's an idea. That stuff, I'm not selling it. I might have mentioned it before. It's a perfumed one. It says the ultimate soap for removing the pungent stench of fish, bait and burley. So you know it's not British made, because it wouldn't use the word burley. We use the word chum and rubby-dubby. From your hands. It's ideal for use on the filleting bench. We don't have filleting benches in England. In the kitchen, on the boat. But it smells really nice. It really does. And the other thing is, you get a bit of lather. It's really nice smell, like a lemony sort of smell to it. But I'm going to have a go at this, because I'll just show you, it's worth having on the boat just as a spare to wash up before you go in, and then you don't get it all over your steering wheel and everywhere else you touch. So over the side we go with Mr. Fishy Fingers. I'm wondering if you could get a soap, because this is impregnated with sort of bits of stuff like grit or something like that to sort of scarify your hands, I suppose. But it definitely does. It's better in fresh water, it'll lather up more, but it's like a coarse soap, if that makes sense. And that's just enough. Look at my hands going white now. That's that sort of scarifying stuff in them. Smells lovely. Get yourself some soap, give it a go, tidy up. Look at the weed, there's a weed everywhere. I'm going to be all day doing the boat tomorrow, and hopefully I don't have too much wind berthing this boat, which I think I might do, because this wind's going to push my boat, come here, this wind's going to push my boat off the trailer. Anyway, let's get going. We'll see you guys next time. Well, listen, you can't win them all, but at least I was out there trying. But when you do get it right, you can expect some serious customers to turn up.
chance that you've been waiting for. It's the light coming through the cracks. When life shows an open door, come on, step through. A chance like the purest gold. Come on, come on. When life shows an open road, you know you should ride it. Forget what
Hardy Fortuna and Zane Grey. And the Zane Grey was the original Zane Grey, first multiplier ever made. And a treat to work. And this will kill any shark in the sea with the right man on the rod.